Alright, what I'm going to do is measure real quick. I can see that the cutout is actually about 11.5 inches to the top. It's actually broke up here to almost 6.5. So what I want to do is I want to cut a piece of drywall that's going to be above this where it's not weak. See, it's real weak right here. I want it strong, so I want a piece. I want to cut out the strong stuff actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out to about 10 inches down here. So I'm going to get a piece of drywall and cut out 10 inches for the up and down, and then strong right here. It's hard. Sometimes you want to avoid going in the corner, but for this case we'll go into the corner. And I don't know if you can see, but it's 14 inches here. So I'm going to cut one 14 inches, which is about an inch past the broken stuff. So what we'll do is 14 inches. A lot of times what you want to do is you want to see where the stud is. And the stud actually is over about another 5 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to avoid going over that far to minimize my size of the patch. Really doesn't, it's not a big deal, it doesn't matter either way. But I have some wood that I can put in that's going to give it plenty of strength. So again, we're going to go 14 inches for the width. For the height, I'm going to go 10 inches, which will give me about an inch above the weakest part here and almost about 2 inches below. So you could go, and then I can adjust it obviously. So that's going to be the first step, is to go cut a piece of drywall 14 by 10. Here we have a patch approximately 1 foot by 6 or 7 inches. When we're done, we're going to cut out a nice square, and I'll show you here in a short minute here. Right now I'm going to go get my tools to measure it and cut it, and then we'll add some wood. Then we'll cut our piece of drywall, and I'll take you through the steps. Okay, now that we have our drywall cut, we're just going to put the drywall right up. Now real quick, we have our piece of drywall. It's a scrap piece of drywall that we got, and with the width here is 15 3/4, and we have a full 44 foot. So we only need 10 by 14, so you can really go either way. So the easiest for me would be to cut 2 inches off. Isn't the simplest, but to cut 5 inches off is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my 14 inches go down. So I'm going to go down 14 inches and then just put a quick little mark. And what you want to, and then also go down over here 14 inches. And you're going to need some type of square, some type of edge, straight edge. You can use your tape measure and go all the way across. It might not be very accurate here. Worked out good. So then we have a nice straight edge. This is our 14 inches down. So then we want to go over 10 inches. Now right here I have a clean straight edge. We want to use this if we can. Over here it's a cut edge. So we're going to go over 10 inches. You start from the bad edge, you go over 10. Make a mark right here. And the secret here is I would take my utility knife, put my rate my finger to this. Now this could be dangerous, you can cut yourself, so I don't recommend you do it. And I would go over to my 5 3/4 and I would run my knife straight down it. Right? Don't recommend you do that. I've never cut myself doing it, but at the same time you can slip and you could cut yourself. So that's the quickest, that's what the pros do. So what I'll do is I'll make another mark, and if you have some type of straight edge, a 2x4, a piece of cardboard, a ruler or whatever, you can use that. But what we'll do is I made a mark here for the 10 inches, mark for down there for 10. There we go. Off a little bit, a little crooked, may cause us to have some unevenness down there. So now what you're going to do is you take your utility knife, you just want to try to run it down the pencil marks quick, as straight as you can. And be careful. I press them pretty firmly. And so one thing here is our mark is we only need to go 10 inches and cut this out. The easiest thing to do is make 2 quick cuts. Okay, go straight across the whole board. Straight across the whole board. Not precise. And all you do is just hit the back of it, and you want to just score the back of it. You don't have to go all the way through, just press lightly, and it comes right apart. And we've already cut this too, so all we gotta do is bang the back of it and cut this lightly. Watch, pull the knife towards me, guys. Be careful, these utility knives are very sharp. And there you go. So now we have our 10 by 14 cut. Now we have our drywall cut. What we do is put our drywall right up here. We have our marks over here, going to the edge, and we're just going to trace our hole, trace our drywall with a pencil. Don't want to use a marker, it can be hard to. If you use a marker, make sure you cut the marker out. So then now we have our traced in line, and we're ready to score our drywall. Alright. Now I'm going to score it with a knife. We have our utility knife. And basically, you want to press firmly, try to stay right on that line, go slowly. Be careful, the knife is sharp, we talked about that. Just press down, and you want to kind of. Alright, now I'm going to just press up here. Alright, now what I want to do is I want to keep going down the line until I actually go through it. Now if you use a saw, the reason I'm just using a utility knife is so you don't have to purchase a saw. But if you have a saw, what you want to do is make sure there's no electrical wires that you can saw through. And you're going to keep scoring down the utility knife blade. You're going to keep scoring with your utility knife until you actually can go through the drywall. And so I'm using 2 hands. It's through. It's through right there. You can almost saw with this knife. Alright, and then I'm going to go across here. Take your time. Alright, you get the point, so just keep on doing this until you get a cut. And we will have a square back to this. I've cut, scored everywhere. I'm just going to pull it off and show you what I'm doing here. Alright. Just kind of work with it a little bit. Not cut some spots, so probably kind of a labor intense, probably one of the most labor intensive of your patch. Scoring your hole. I went all the way to the corner. Clean it up here. I do have some electrical wires that I will have to be careful with, but they're out of the way, and that's good. So I have a nice clean cut square, and just take your knife and clean up any of the extra stuff, and we'll try our, hopefully, first try the patch fits. But before next step is, we're going to put some wood right here.